Good morning, and welcome to Bex and Rob.
Yeah,
That's
good
all I got.
morning.
Yeah, that's all I got. I was trying to
Yeah.
go like nightly newscaster. It's probably going to sound like crap,
Bow, bow,
but
bow, bow, bow. Yeah. Breaking news. Bex and Rob
still
are
hate each
doing their
other.
podcast.
Breaking news: just out of Georgia, the governor is an
They'll
idiot.
never be far enough away.
So I'm going to jump right
Well,
into the
that's
fact that
surprising.
it's not surprising. This governor is an idiot. He has signed as part of his executive order that people can get their driver's licenses without taking the test. It's just for these next, I don't know, month or so. I'm not sure how long. It's just, hey, as long as your parents give you the A-OK, you're good to go. You still have to do those 40 hours that your parents sign off on, but there's no proof required that you did it. It's just your parents. So I'm not sure what happens then. Is like, if you get into an accident, is it the parents' fault for signing you off? Like how's insurance gonna go? I'm just so baffled.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe as a if you were a kid there, you'd be able to say, "Oh, the state's actually liable for me getting in this accident. They didn't actually check to make sure I know how to drive.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that I ran a stop sign. I didn't actually know I had to stop.
Well, there could actually
Like, I
be
know I'm
like
supposed to know that, but the state
if
is to make
someone
sure.
if someone hits me, if I get into an accident, someone hits me, and they got their license. I find out that they got their license through this way. I maybe could sue the state and say, "This is your fault. You did not test these
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I am certainly not a
Why did
lawyer,
you let this
so
person hit me?
yeah. Why did you not say? I just don't understand.
I
Like, it's
Yeah,
not
no,
like
I don't know.
people are
That's an
supposed to be
interesting
going
point.
any. Well, to be fair, actually, in Georgia, the shelter in place order is up, but um, really, we're not supposed to be going places too much. So it's like, why do you need your driver's license? You're 16. You don't have school. Where are you going? But yeah, I don't know.
That's a great point. What does a 16-year-old really need with their license anyway?
I mean, if they have a job
Um,
now, but
yeah, I worry about kids hitting me normally, but I'm really worried about kids that don't even have to take a test and
yeah.
how they'll
Well,
fare.
and
I mean, like, people are bad at driving anyway, but it's
oh,
even
right.
worse when they can just drive freely like that.
Yeah. And I've seen some parents that say, "Oh, I'm, really happy because my kid's ready and now we can get them signed off." And other parents say, "I don't know if I'm qualified to tell them. I may not know of some law or rule. Like, I may be doing it wrong from because of it's how I was taught when I learned how to drive 50 years ago or whatever. It's they're like, you want that unbiased perspective, like, hey, you're doing this wrong."
Well, it's also the point of I, how do you really trust parents to be able to judge their kids like that? Like, what
Yeah.
qualification do parents have to teach their kids how to drive or test their kids in their driving skills in that sense? Like, we actually pay specific people to test our population on our driving skills before they're allowed to drive. Just
Yeah.
like we pay teachers to specifically teach our kids because they are educated in that. Um,
Yeah, it
I
is
worry
their
about
career.
all the homeschooling that's happening right now, not just with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of people going online saying how much they're struggling to teach their children. It's like, yeah, because that's not your professional career. Like, it would make sense that you're struggling to do this. You don't even have to do it with a class full of 30 kids, but you still, I mean, this is not what you were trained how to do. We very specifically train our teachers and then don't pay them enough, and to do this job, to educate our children. And we shouldn't, this expectation that we can somehow be fantastic at it is is quite ludicrous.
Well, and it's also one of those things that I look at the education of our people. I mean, basically, almost half our population can't read above a fourth grade level. Almost half of our population can't do more than basic math. I mean, there's a lot of people in our country that wouldn't be able to go to the store and get to the teller or whatever and tell you how much they're going to have to pay before they actually ring up
Yeah,
because they can't add all of those prices
yeah,
together kind of concept. How are we expecting those people to teach the kids that are the future of our country?
yeah. It's well, and also these. I mean, these. You know, you might have to be going to work as well. Like, one may not even be able to have the knowledge to teach these kids, but also
Totally.
to say, hey, just go home and teach them. But hey, I'm still an essential worker. Uh, yeah, that's what I don't know how what's happening
Yeah, no,
with.
that's definitely something I've been thinking about where there is all those kids at home.
I've been wondering what happens now that Georgia's and some other states are going up with uh, the shelter in place order is no longer in effect, except if you're um, over 65, I think, or you have a pre-existing condition, then there's still a shelter in place order in effect. But what if? So that means that you can't collect this unemployment. I don't know what it means for the 600 a week that people have been getting. You know, what if you have to stay home because you have to care for someone that has COVID-19, or you or oh, there was one other reason. Or yeah, I think it was if you or you have kids that and there's no, like, you can't go to work because there's no child care centers open because those are still closed. So I'm a little confused how it's all working here and in
I
other states.
I do believe that's written into the laws. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that I've read that if you have to care for somebody or um, you have kids that you need to take care of because there's no child care available for them, you're also given that provision to be allowed to collect that unemployment. Like you're
Okay.
kind of you're like the gig workers and things like that, people that wouldn't normally be able to collect, but since you
Yeah.
aren't able to work because of COVID-19, you can
Yeah.
collect.
Yeah. Oh, it's an interesting time for all of us.
Yeah, and we're all trying to figure out how it works. It none of it makes sense and none of it's clear. I think it's part of the thing that a lot of people are struggling with is this idea of I don't know what's coming next week and there's no clear plan in place. So all this uncertainty makes me stressed out and it makes it hard for me to say, yeah, no, obviously I should stay home because what happens when I have to stay home 6 months from now? Like I can't. That's not sustainable for so many people.
Yeah.
But that idea of maybe we are coming out next week, maybe we're coming out 2 weeks from now, and they haven't expressed any sort of plan that people can use, saying if we hit this metric we're going to do this, if we hit this metric we're going to do this, and I understand it's not like there's not like one metric that you got to hit, but
Yeah.
if there's 5 or 6 different things that you're looking at, talk about that and say, hey, these are the 5 things that we need to work on, and before we see these things hit these ranges we're not going to do anything or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like at least give people an idea of what you're looking at instead of just saying, hey, stay at home, good luck. I mean, we experience this kind of thing on the ice a lot where there's this lack of communication and it makes people stressed out because they don't know
Yeah.
what to expect or where they're going or what they're doing, and it really bothers people. And we don't normally have it here. We don't have that lack of communication. Where right now it's a lack of communication on a clear, coherent plan, and it's really bothering a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. It's even I mean, I remember learning this in a number of jobs that I've had is, you give the information that you have to the customer. Like, like customer service is like, if our bus is coming, there's this big queue, big line. You say, they're demanding where's the next bus, and call the bus driver. You know, you don't say, oh, it's 5-10 minutes away, because that could be wrong. But you could say, hey, they are 10 miles away. They're at this point, you know, in no traffic. That usually takes this much time. If there's traffic, it could take longer, usually maybe about this much time. But you give just kind of some information to people, and that calms them down so much. But if you just say silent or you give them false information, all it does is piss them off. All it does is make them so angry. But if you're just, clear with people, you
Yeah,
calm them down.
yeah,
And it's something I don't understand how some people
yeah.
don't
It's
get.
definitely an important thing. Oh gosh, yeah, yeah, it's definitely bringing it to light with this whole thing where we're not great at communicating as people when it comes to emergency situations. It's actually something I think about a lot, especially as a person that's constantly out of communication. I mean, I'm not on like Facebook all the time, and I'm not constantly looking at the news. And there's times where I'm off the grid. Like I go out on hikes for a week long time
Yeah.
where I don't have any sort of cell phone service or anything. Um, and how do we inform our people of continuing situations or emergency situations in the first place? Like with this, I mean, imagine being a person that doesn't have access to the internet or things like that. How do you know that there's a lockdown order in the first place, or that it's over? um, or maybe you have a cell phone. Like, why don't we have things that just push out messages to all the cell
So
phones out there that say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what to
there
plan
is
for?
I think you have to sign up for them, but like I'm signed up on my phone for emergency alerts. So when there's like a kidnapping nearby, or like in my county or whatever, there's like child
Amber
kidnapping.
alerts.
Basically, yeah, an Amber Alert will go off on my phone giving a description. And but I don't get them anymore since I'm not in the area. But when I was in the area, I would get text messages from basically the state of California, just saying, or the my county or whatever, saying there's a shelter in place order going into effect. This is um, like, go to this link for more information. And it was just like, it buzzes at your phone, whether your phone's on silent or what, and it just makes like a loud tone until you click
Huh.
OK and view it. But I think you have to sign up for those. But I think they're really important. Like, anytime, like, I did a partial country road trip with my dad last year, and twice I think there was an Amber Alert that went off on my phone, and it just means one more set of eyes that can watch out for that car, and that suspect
Yeah.
is whatever. Yeah, but I don't think people know that they can sign up for these things, um, which is a shame.
Well, I've gotten the Amber alerts before. I've gotten those, but I've never gotten anything like on the shelter in place or whatnot.
Yeah,
Like maybe it's something that California does, or
maybe.
maybe it
Yeah,
is something that I have to sign up for. I'll have to look into that. That's an interesting thing. I mean,
yeah,
I like I said, I think about it a lot.
yeah. Well, I find funny when you keep hearing these stories of these people that come out of these 4 week long, rafting trips, and they're just like, what the hell? What?
Why are all the stores closed? What's
I
happening
don't
here?
understand. Yeah, those people are really not prepared. They've just gone through their 4 week supply of stuff. Now they get home and they're like, I can't buy toilet paper. I've just been using no toilet paper for 4 weeks. I just want
Oh,
toilet paper.
that's so funny. Yeah, no, that's it's still weird to go into the stores. Like it's we're what's this, a month and a half now into this,
Yeah,
and still going into the stores, and you can't find sanitizer still, and you can't
yeah.
find. I mean, definitely the toilet paper and paper towel aisle has still not been restocked. I don't
I
understand.
we're running. We've run out of paper towels here. We are running very low on toilet paper. We cannot find toilet paper anywhere. We're just like, what the hell? And meats are now, because of all the meat factories.
Hmm.
They've they're, I mean, Trump signed that order to keep them open, but you also don't have the people to keep them open because they weren't being properly protected.
Yeah,
So
they're all getting
now
sick.
meat prices are skyrocketing, or now they're just disappearing off the shelves. And yeah, it's
Oh.
it's a good time to be a hunter. It's a good time to have those hunting skills.
Well, except that, the public lands were closed and things like that, so where are you gonna
Yeah,
go hunting?
true. You better hope you have a lot of property.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What a world.
What a
Um,
world.
anything else interesting going on in your neck of the woods or whatnot?
I don't think so. It's nice to be living in warmth. I haven't done that in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
This will be my first summer in 2 years. I'm stoked, man. I cannot wait to live in summer.
How warm is
I'm
it?
also what was that?
How warm is it?
70s, 80s. I think it's gonna hit up to on the 90s tomorrow. Next few
Oh,
days.
nice.
Yeah.
That
I'm
sounds
not
real
looking
nice.
forward to this whole mosquito thing that I've heard about down here,
Like mosquitoes
but
the size of like birds.
yeah, I don't know. Everyone just says that they're really bad down here. But on the other hand, every other time I've been near mosquitoes, I don't get bit that bad. Or if I get bitten, I like it doesn't really itch. So I don't know.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
I can understand. I don't like you, so I can understand mosquitoes being like, nah,
Yes,
no thanks, I'm not messing with that
exactly.
one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want to be any closer to her than I have to. Maybe if I just keep myself really smelly, I don't bathe, then I'll even keep it even further away, and I'll keep people 6 feet away from me. So like double whammy: no coronavirus and no mosquitoes.
I could be wrong, but I think it would work opposite. Like it would attract the mosquitoes, and then everything else, obviously people would stay away. So you'd be surrounded
Yeah,
by a cloud of mosquitoes, but no people,
but no people.
which is
Honestly,
kind of nice.
might be that might be a perk, man.
You have like
So,
double deterrent. Like people don't want to come near you because you smell, and they don't want to come near you because you're just like surrounded by mosquitoes.
as long as the mosquitoes don't like the bites don't itch, I can deal with them probably. The flying around my ear might drive me insane, but then there's no people. Like I don't have the irritating people thing. I don't know. I'm pretty stoked.
That definitely that flying around the ear thing after getting off the ice, that's one of those things that gets me every single time is like
Yeah,
yeah, like I'm normally not like excited about bugs flying near my ears, but I'm not bothered by it. But that first time after getting off the ice, it's like, holy crap, what was that? Run for your life kind of thing. Oh, so frightening. Oh,
yeah. I hate bugs. It's one of the things I love about Antarctica is I don't have to be surrounded by bugs. Um,
mm,
and getting off the ice is very it throws me a lot. I'm like, ah, there's a thing. Oh, it's a moth. Oh, butterfly. Oh no, no. And
yeah,
like I mean, even when
butterfly.
my headphones will like the line will like just
Oh yeah,
graze my skin, scare the shit out of me. Oh my god. Oh,
I feel like I used to have a much worse time with it, where like my clothing would touch my body, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure I got an ant in my pants.
the ants
um,
in your pants.
but I don't have as much of a problem with that anymore. Every once in a while, especially now that I'm growing the beard, like my hair is so it's like a double whammy. I'm growing the beard, and I've started to let my hair down. I don't have it tied up in a ponytail, so it comes forward and gets in my beard way more often. And I think that that's bugs pretty regularly. Like, why? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's something in my beard.
Will
It
one
just
time
happens.
when Will had his really full he's trimmed his beard down now a lot shorter, but it was on the ice, it was really, really full. And he would sometimes just pull like one of my long ass hairs out of there. He's like, where did this come from? And the other day he found one of those like twist ties just in his beard. He's like, what the hell? I'm like, what are you growing in there? I was like, comb your beard, dude.
How do you get a twist tie in there?
I don't know. I was I might have come from like I built a shelf at like one of those IKEA's, not even IKEA, like straight up from Walmart shelving units, um, and I there might have been twist ties in there, but he wasn't even helping me, so I'm not even sure how he got it up in there. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
even like even if you were helping, how did you like maybe it
How does
popped
it
off
get?
of something and like bounced into your face, but other than that, I don't understand how you could get a twist tie in
The
your
best
beard.
part was the best part was the day later he was actually looking for a twist tie, and I was like, "Have you checked your beard?" He just he did not have one
Oh,
at that time, but oh, that would have been so good.
yeah,
Uh,
gosh, I'd
yeah,
love to be able to hide a twist tie in my beard. We'll get there someday.
Your beard is glorious. I am really glad you're growing it back. I don't know if you remember, but when you shaved it off my first year, I just stared at you for like a few weeks. I couldn't stop staring at you because I didn't know how to handle the fact that your beard was gone. I just I just kept staring, and I was kind of speechless, and I was so sad that you didn't grow it back, and I'm super excited.
It's kind of funny actually because I started the way that my beard progression has gone on the ice was I got down there my first season. I was in the galley and I had it was much weaker of a beard, but I had my beard. Um, and we had to wear like hair nets on our beards. They didn't have beard nets. And I was very uncomfortable with it. Like it made me feel like I was choking. So I shaved off my beard my first season after maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and then most of the time, like my first two seasons, I was totally beardless. So I feel like most of the people on the ice know me with no beard.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and then my second season, or your first season, I mean, my third season, um, I did have that beard when I came down, and I had it for quite a while in the season. I
For the
feel
first
like,
half of the season, yeah.
yeah. So I feel like there's also now there's people that come down there that have no eye or they see me as that beard person, and it's got to be weird to not see me with it. I never thought of it that way
Yeah.
actually. That's
I
fun.
love that you started wearing your hair not tied back anymore when you started letting it go. And see, I didn't know your hair was so curly. You got
It
some
wasn't.
beautiful curls, and you just like, I don't know, they just started coming out, and Shelly and I were just like staring at your curls. We're just like, oh my god.
They're amazing curls right now. So I don't my hair wasn't this curly. Like if I had my hair down, it was a lot straighter. On the ice, I got my hair cut for the first time in like 15 years. Um,
Was
and
it that?
I think that's what caused it to become curly. I
Oh,
think that's what it was. I
it
like
kind of,
I don't know what
yeah,
else
you,
was.
yeah, it kind of cut off the dead ends because she just trimmed it. She did a really light trim, didn't she? Like she didn't take a lot
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, she did a great job. I'm super appreciative that I found
Yeah,
a person to cut my hair.
yeah. She did. You were panicking. I came into the room because we lived across the hall from each other. I came into the room when he got his hair, or like not knowing his hair was getting trimmed right then. But I just came to go talk to him, and he was like totally fine throughout it. And then when I came in, his panic levels started rising, and he's like, I don't know why, but having you in here is just making it worse. It's like he
It
didn't
was
trust me near scissors.
I think it was the idea of somebody was watching me get my
Yeah,
hair cut, which made me feel very uncomfortable. Like I'm uncomfortable getting my hair cut, as well as it's like something that in my mind is like what's the way to put it? It's like wrong or bad. Like I worry that people would look at me and be like, "Oh my gosh, he's getting his hair cut. What a lameo," or something. Like I don't know what it is in that sense, but I'm worried about that judgment of other people thinking I'm getting my hair cut.
yeah.
Um, which is funny because I'm sure that's just all internalized. Like
All
that's
in your
me.
head.
Like
Yeah,
anytime I see somebody that like, oh, you got a haircut, bad decision. What a lameo. You should
lame-o.
you should never cut your hair,
You're such a loser. Oh man, I
dummy.
let I let my mom cut my hair. So I hadn't cut my hair in like a year and a half. I'm just not good at getting my hair cut because I'm moving around so many places. But the
Hmm.
ends that like the bottom few inches were just really fried and just really dried out, and I kept meaning to get a haircut, and then everything went into shelter in place, so I couldn't. But it just started driving me insane. It was making my hair get so tangled every day. It was driving me insane.
Yeah,
So I just let my mom cut it, and I had a little bit of PTSD. I'm not gonna lie, from the previous one other time I ever let my mom cut my hair in third grade. She decided that she wanted to be one of those cool moms that cuts people's hair. I love you, mom. Sorry. But she, what you got to do when you do this, when you cut your own kid's hair, is start when they're a baby because they don't give a shit what they look like then. They
yeah.
just might look stupid with a haircut, but you're the only one that might care. You don't start when they're 10 years old. And apparently, it is also on me. She asked me whether I wanted it shoulder or chin length. I thought I said shoulder. She says that I said chin. And so when she tried to cut it chin length, she cut it all jagged. And so we had to
Oh,
go to super cuts later, and it cut like cheek length. Like up like my nose, like cheek length, to get it all straight. And my mom was like, "It was so cute." I'm like, "No, it was awful. I hated you for that. I was so bad." But despite this fiasco 16 years ago, I let her cut my hair recently, just trim off the dead ends, and she did a really good job. So my faith in her is restored. I won't let her ever cut my hair any shorter than, my back length, like my shoulder blade length. But yeah.
I like stories like that. Like I feel like the parents walk in with their child into the supercuts, and that supercuts hairdresser's like, "Oh, what the hell did you do?"
She vocalized too. My mom said that woman was so mean to her. The person who was cutting hair was just like, she was just like, "This is terrible. You did a terrible job. I don't try and do your job, do you?" I was like, "Okay, lady, you're about to give me like it's super cuts, like it's a $12 haircut or whatever. It's not like you. This is some great salon we're walking into. So like, let's cool it a little bit
Yeah,
with the aggression." But she was apparently really rude to my mom. Oh, it was brutal.
makes me want to be a hairdresser now that I think about it. Like I want to go just judge people in their hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh man. Uh, I kind of thought
I
about
couldn't
going.
do it. I couldn't be a.
I didn't realize how long it takes to go to like hairdressing school. It's like apparently like 2 years. I thought it was like a couple months course or something like that. I was because I was like, I'd love to learn that skill. Like that's super helpful. Or whenever I have children, I'll just start cutting their hair like my aunt did when they were a baby and just try not to mess it up.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You can always look up tutorials on YouTube.
There's so, especially right now with everyone like, sheltering in place, there are so many tutorials on how to cut hair. So many.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. There's probably going to be
Yeah.
a ton of new tutorials coming
I
out.
mean, even before then, there were going to be heaps, but because that's just, YouTube loves to do that. Everyone loves to be like, look at me cut hair. Da da da. These are my talents. But, now with shelter in place, like, hey, here's how to cut your, husband's hair during quarantine. Here's how to cut your wife's hair so she doesn't divorce you in quarantine. Like, things like that.
Oh gosh, I learned how to tie my tie on YouTube.
Ooh. I learned that from marching band. We had to wear
Mm.
white t-shirts and ties and black dress pants, and I can still tie it. I can only tie like a basic knot, but that's how is a very useful skill I learned from marching band. And I've actually had to tie ties for men before. They're like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, give it to me.
I never got to do marching band. I kind of wish I did. It seems
Oh,
like it's so much fun.
it has its pluses and negatives. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I'm sure
loved it
it's
overall.
like hard, and there's definitely times where it's like this is stupid and sucks, and I hate you all. Um, but
It's for me. It was simultaneously a great community and a terrible one. There
yeah,
was
that's true.
there was like I mean, that's where I still talk to my high school friends from marching band. Like I still like my core group of friends in high school. That's how we met, and that I love those girls. But it was also the guys and some girls older than me that bullied me relentlessly in high school, and they were like the cool kids in marching band. So, which I know sounds just like an oxymoron, but they were the cool kids in marching band, and I got picked on a lot, and it was kind of just allowed by a lot of people because like allowed by my other peers because it's they're the cool kids and I'm the weird one,
That's the way it
and
works. Yep.
yeah, and it was I had some great times, but I also had some of my worst memories because of marching band as well. But you deal with what you're dealt, and make lemonade out of lemons and whatnot and all that bullshit, and I
Well,
still have some great memories from there.
I feel like the whole like music scene, no matter where you're at, whether it's like high school music or you're, playing in a rock band or you're in, a classical symphony or whatever, it's simultaneously an incredible community of people, and at the same time it's also extremely toxic. Like there's
Yeah,
all sorts of toxic people in the music world, but
yeah,
I've also met some of the greatest people of my life in the music world too. It's I mean, that's kind of true everywhere in a sense, but I feel like that is a extremely polarized
yeah.
portion of the world in that sense. And that's actually one thing I really appreciate about the music scene on the ice is that there is absolutely none of that toxicity
No,
when it
it's
comes to the
just
music scene.
it's just like Claire invited me to come, join the jazz group that just you would casually meet and play jazz music. And so then, one of them, Amy, she taught me how to play piano a little bit, and I would sing a little bit. Like, it was just totally, it was just fun and warmth. There was no dramas. It was all just about enjoying the music and enjoying each other's company. And I love that about the
Yeah.
ice. I love that. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It is a shame to see. I mean, ice. There's on the ice. There's still the whole click problem. You always say, "Oh,
Oh
it's
sure.
things aren't like that out of high school." It's like, yeah, there always are. Like, there's always going to be cliques. Every like place I've worked, there's always some kind of clickiness in somewhere. There could be less in one portion and more in another portion, different departments, whatever. But it's just human nature.
Oh
But
yeah.
but not in the music scene at McMurdo, which is nice. Just a
Yeah.
just a good place.
A bunch of people wanting to just enjoy themselves and make music,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
which is cool. Uh, I've been playing a ton of bass guitar, which has
yeah,
been super fun. It's really interesting to me. Like I didn't play for almost 10 years. Like every once in a while I'd pick up a bass and play here and there. And I played more like acoustic guitar than I did bass actually. Um, but even that I didn't play regularly. It was just here and there. But I picked the bass up and I feel like I instantly felt like I was better than I was 10 years ago
yeah.
without having practice at all. I mean, obviously, like my fingers didn't have the strength and chops and whatnot, but understanding how to actually create music and that kind of thing was so much easier, and it made so much more sense. It's so cool. I can't.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
hoping.
good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to play music with some people on the ice this year.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I tried to teach myself piano this season, and then just kind of, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't great at sticking to it and making myself go down there. There was always so many other things to do. Like, I would just go
Yeah.
down to the chapel because it was the easiest. Um, but I'm thinking, I was talking to someone, and I was thinking, I might bring. I still have my flute that I've had since fifth grade. That's what I played, fifth and sixth grade, and then into high school with marching band. Um, and I was like, I might bring my flute back down, and it's probably crappy, and the pads need replacing and whatnot. But it might be fun to just bring down and leave there, and just, whenever I end up leaving
Yeah.
the ice permanently, or for now or whatever, I just leave it down there and leave it for people to enjoy. But yeah, I was thinking I
We
might try and buff up those skills.
yeah we could use another flute on the ice.
Yeah,
Especially one like if you got the pads repaired before you went down and whatnot.
yeah, I might do
Bas
that. I don't know.
For the most part, all the like woodwind instruments that have pads and whatnot, their pads are in lousy
Terrible
shape.
shape.
Yeah, I kind of want to bring down a light bar and um, some pads and that kind of thing, and do some repairs on those instruments because a lot of them, like
Do you know how?
the um, I do know how.
Oh,
What
cool.
I can't think of words right now. Like the actual, I'm thinking the word valves, but that's trumpet. But the
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that the pads,
the
a lot of those
keys.
won't even close. That's the right word. Thank you.
Is that what they're
A lot of
called?
the
Flute,
keys,
flute
yeah,
keys? Are those?
I believe
I
they're
can't even
keys. Yeah,
remember. It's literally. Uh,
right.
my band director would probably be like cringing at me, like, "Come on, Bex." But
I'm
yeah, I
cringing
can't
at
even
me.
remember. I'm great, but oh god, it's been so long. I was 18, 17 when I last played it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I hopefully it's not too expensive, but I would like to go get those fixed up. We can play together.
Yeah. Um, no, that'd be fun. That'd be a good time.
Yeah,
Uh, there's a lot of instruments that I want to work on down there, and like gear issue, they need to be repaired.
yeah. And you're still working on you were like repairing the unicycles too, weren't you?
There's only one unicycle there, but
Oh, so the one.
it didn't really need to be repaired. It just needed to be adjusted. And actually, I guess I could bring down some because it does need one repair. One of the um, bolts on the seat
Yeah.
stripped. Um,
You still have to teach me how to ride a unicycle this year.
Well, I fixed it and whatnot, and I'll be much more rigorous on that. And definitely, if you gotta try harder than you did with the piano.
This is true. This is true. I did try hard in the beginning. I just,
Yeah,
things went to shit and I gave up.
it's one of those places that seems like it's like, oh, this is gonna be so easy to just like dedicate some time to learning piano. I mean, I got all the time in the world down here. And then you
Yeah.
get there and it's like, I don't have all the time in the world, and there's things that I want to do, and
Yeah.
like my 4 hours a day that I'm not working or sleeping, I don't really want to go play piano.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you want to do it, and so I would do it on my day off. I would try and be pretty good about just going to the chapel, especially when I was on nights the first half of the season. It was easy. There's no one in the
Yeah.
chapel in the middle of the night. I'd go at 2, 3 in the morning and just go play, and I don't have to worry about anyone hearing me or being self conscious. But yeah, then there's other things, and you want to hang out with people, and da da
Hmm.
da. Stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people go down there and they're like, I'm gonna accomplish this. I'm gonna do this while I'm there. This is gonna happen. And
yeah.
I know very few people that have ever actually
The
done
whole
any of those
season.
things. Yeah.
What about didn't Monk learn Korean last year or 2 years ago?
I think he worked on learning Korean.
He worked
I
on the
talked about him, or I talked about it with him this season. And he said he'd kind of worked on it and then he kind of slacked off. Kind of, I mean, same idea where he got
yeah.
into it and then just kind of dropped off. Um,
My first season, my goal was to exercise more, and I actually overdid it. I ended up I was working out like it's literally 7 days a week.
oh yeah.
I was running every other day, so I was basically running 3 times a week. I was going to a kickboxing class, a jujitsu class, and then 2 dance classes, a salsa and a swing class, and with all of those, I was working out 7 days a week, and I was starting to crap myself out. So I cut back on some of them, but then I ended up like hurting my foot. Like in one of the dance classes, I got a
Oh,
callus on my foot and or blister on my foot, and so then that kind of took me out from all of the activities. Like I needed to be able to stand on my foot and twist my foot on for all of these.
yeah.
So and then when by the time my foot healed, it was like 2 weeks later, and I just had gotten out of the habit. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, I did a pretty good job this season myself. I started working out regularly, and then my knee started to hurt, so I had to take a little bit of time off. But I think I did pretty good. Other than
Yeah,
that, I mean,
yeah. You
like,
were going during every lunch period.
I was going like 4 days a week. I think I you shouldn't be exercising 7 days a week.
Yeah, I overdid it.
Yeah, um,
I was just really
that's
enjoying it. I was like, this is such a cool opportunity. I get to take a kickboxing class. I get to learn like I'd never done kickboxing before. I'd never done jujitsu, and I loved both of those. And I love dancing, so I was like, this is so much fun. Plus, I wanted to keep up with my. I already had a goal of running. Like I was already
Mhm.
running, so I was like, well, I can't give up on that. And I just overdid it. I should have just picked and chosen. But it was also I was tough because I wasn't sure, because like those people weren't back this last year. So none of those classes that I did,
Oh yeah,
I couldn't do it with the same people. You know, there
and I mean,
was
I
no
get I
kickboxing or
get that.
jiu-jitsu.
Uh, I get that concept of like pushing yourself too hard too, where it's like I would do my days of workout, and it's like I'm supposed to take today off. I'm not supposed to do anything, and then Brooke would be like, "Hey, you want to go on a hike?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure, let's go on a hike." It's my day off,
You
but
know,
let's do it.
what I still haven't done? I meant to do it all my first season. I meant to do it all last season. Is hike Ob Hill. For the love of God, will you please force me to hike Ob Hill next year? Like
Are you
the
talking
day
about to
we
the
get
top of
there.
Bob Hill?
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't gone around it. I haven't hiked up it. I haven't done any. Like I seriously thought I was like I really really thought I was gonna do it, and I just like I made it like Steve McGowan was like, the two of us will go together, but then I got the crud, and then he got the crud, and then he got the crud again, or something like that. So it was just like, so like I tried too sick to do it, and it was, and then I don't know, I kept meaning to, and I just kept waiting for nicer, warmer weather, and it's Antarctica. It's not going to be nicer, warmer weather.
no, no, and
And someone was
so
telling me it's better to do it when there's actually snow on the ground. It's easier, like to grip the rocks somehow when there's snow. Or someone was saying it's easier.
um, I think
And I was like,
that's
that sounds iffy, but
depends on the person. I would say maybe like I personally like to do it more when there's no snow on the ground.
yeah,
Um, But I'll do the uphill loop with you, but I won't go up uphill. I
You won't
believe
go.
maybe I'll go up it this season, but I pretty much don't ever
Yeah.
want to go back up it anymore. Like, no thanks.
Oh man. Well, I didn't. I also didn't have any hiking shoe, like warm hiking shoes. Like I had like my snow boots or my ECW boots,
Oh,
but I didn't want to, and other than that, I just had like tennis shoes or like sneakers, and I didn't really want to go up in that because that didn't seem warm enough, and I wasn't really sure. But then, this awesome Stewie this past year, Ginny, she gave me, she was, I just happened to be at the coffee house when she kind of shouted out to the universe, "Hey, I've got, does anyone wear a size 8, men's 8, and wants hiking new hiking shoes?" And I was like, "I do." And they're perfect. I wore them every day. And so now I'm like, okay, you have no excuse. You have hiking shoes now. They're your favorite things ever. Walk up goddamn uphill.
yeah, you
Oh,
definitely have to. I mean,
I know.
you're we're kind of a lucky bunch in shuttles where we get to see the station from a lot of different places,
Yeah,
in a lot of different ways. Like we get some really cool views where a lot of the town is stuck in town.
yeah.
So going up uphill really is special for them. Where it for us, like it's really cool to go up uphill. Like I definitely you have to do it, but it's
But it's,
not quite the same as for everybody else.
yeah, we get the opportunity to constantly get off the base.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of other people don't. So I did kind of think about that. I was like, I have this cool thing. I'm not like I'll be a little annoyed with myself if I don't do it this season, but I also know like it's not like I'm missing on these great views or it's my only way to get out of town. It's not. I've got ways.
Well, think of it this way: it took me 3 seasons to do uphill loops, so
Oh, good. Okay, well, you and I are going
I
to do uphill loop together for sure.
So, so after what I just said, we're a group that gets to see things from all sorts of cool places. I also think that it's really cool. Like waiting 3 years to do Ob Hill Loop was cool because I get to see that area from a different perspective again
Hmm.
for the first time, and it was really nice. Like everything looks different from a different perspective.
Yeah,
Um, and being there for months at a time, you see the same perspectives over and over and over, and it's
yeah,
nice for the first time in years to see something different there. So I think in
yeah.
that sense, it's kind of cool that you've waited.
Yeah, yeah. My cool different perspective it was seeing the ice blow out this season. The
Oh yeah,
last like week or two that we were there, watching it blow out right before I left. It blew all the way to Scott Base, past Scott Base. That was unreal to see. Like driving to the airfield, that was unreal to watch.
it was
It
super
was
cool.
it was so cool, and so that was kind of my new perspective. Well, and I got to do Room with the View as well. Actually, now that I
Hmm,
think about it, so
that's a fun
yeah,
one. I heard the
yeah.
ice blew out even further, like the ice shelf started to break
It
off.
the ice shelf broke off. Yeah, there were. I saw pictures from people who were there for March and April. The actual like chunks of ice shelf were breaking off to the point that they were thinking it got. I don't know how close, but it got quite close to the Phoenix Road, and they were
Yeah.
thinking, what do we do if we have to make a new Phoenix Road? It was getting close enough that they were like, shit.
Just imagine like you're expecting to get off the ice and then Phoenix Airfield blows out.
Wait, I can ask Will actually. How close did the ice shelf blow off? Like close to the road?
Couple hundred yards.
A couple hundred yards, he said.
Wow.
Yeah, it kept
Yeah,
breaking up pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I remember seeing people's
that's
pictures and
pretty
like
incredible.
some of the ice shelf would blow into like Winter Quarters Bay, where the boat goes, and
Yeah.
like just seeing these huge chunks just stuck there. I mean, like I'm just seeing it through the pictures, but I've heard it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, there were like 20
Yeah, I
pieces
have.
there, and the next morning they were all gone.
Yeah,
Oh
There
gosh.
was
Yeah, no,
two
I've seen the
pieces
pictures too.
that were
It's
in the bay
awesome.
that were two pieces alone create for the whole size of the bay.
I'm kicking Will out.
I like the extra perspective. Oh, yeah, no, I'd love to see those glaciers out there.
I would.
Um, it's definitely a cool little
Yeah, it is.
view.
It is.
Uh,
I just wasn't used to someone coming in and talking from this side, so I was like, get out.
Well, it's funny. I like how he turned off the light on you too.
He did. Yeah, Rob and I can see each other, so it's nice to talk to each other so we can see everything that happens. Will's been in and out of here for the past like 10 minutes getting dressed. He's gotta go to work. And I was like, shh, shh. Oy vey.
Uh, well, I feel like it fits perfectly with the way that we record our
The way our
podcast.
show runs, yeah. Yeah, we had to.
Uh,
The reason we're a few days late this week is because the first day you had some like
I had
people in the yards,
landscapers
landscapers.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
and then
loud.
so we delayed it a day, and then but when I was the next day, it was on me because there were a bunch of tiny humans in the other room, and so it was quite loud. Oh,
That's yeah. No, it works perfectly. I think we might be coming to the end of our show.
we might be coming to the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one. We've usually overdone it, so this way we can shoot low.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. Um,
No,
I think that if anybody has listened to all of our shows, I really appreciate you
I
because
don't believe anyone has. Makes it
I,
Ryan,
I was
number
gonna
one
say I
fan,
don't know
Ryan.
that I could listen to all of our shows. Uh,
Yeah, I certainly cannot
but
listen to
yeah,
our
no,
voices.
thanks if you're listening. I sometimes I wonder if people have any questions or want us to talk about certain things.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll
so I
talk
created
about
us
it.
an email account actually.
Shut the front door.
Yeah,
You did?
um,
He doesn't tell me anything.
I did. I no, I I don't tell her anything. I try not to at least.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just Bex and Rob separated at gmail.com.
I like
Um,
this.
yeah, I feel like, like I said, if you have questions or if you want us to talk about some sort of subject, you should email us. You can even email us and tell us to stop. I know we don't have the phone like we do on the ice for people to call us and be like, please get off the air.
But we
Um,
also don't have any email on the ice because internet is so slow. So, haha.
so yeah, we've swapped it around. So now we have an email. You can email us, tell us to stop, or tell us to talk about whatever you want. Yeah, that's all I got for the end of our show.
Excellent. Well, Rob, I'll talk to you in another week. Until then, I don't want to hear your voice or look at you. So, goodbye.
All right, bye.